Peace and blessing. It's one of the Jenners. Rebecca's Journey. She pretty dope. I was just watching All Things Jenny. Big shout out to All Things Jenny. But I was checking out was the Great Reset. You could say that. You could say times are changing. You could say whatever, right? But definitely the fight has begun. Seeing down in New Orleans, they not going with that ISIS trip. Seeing they got some dolls out there, and they got the government a little shook and scared. They got the officials shaking in their boots, trying to figure out if this is a battle that they want to continue on with. The spiritual realm is very real, and people tap in and they tap out. Now, the thing about it is, everybody likes to tap into this type of energy, but it can get dangerous. It can get wicked. It can get worse before it get better. So let's check out the way that people use this type of information and energy for their benefits and also for control. I really wanted to show y'all what stocks y'all should be looking into because they got a lot of money that's moving next year and within the next couple of months you're going to see a lot of big changes, a lot of new millionaires, a lot of wealth transfer happening. It's going to be very very swift, very very smooth, and this is Rebecca's journey. I'm gonna try to put a link in the description or something like that.
Hear mind control and think it's fantasy. That's because what most people don't realize is that governments have magic, right? They called it research. In the 1950s and 60s, the CIA ran a classified program known as MK Ultra. It involved hypnosis, trauma conditioning, drugs, sensory deprivation, memory fragmentation, all designed to see how easy personality can be broken, rewritten, or controlled. Not suspected, not rumored, but this has been 100% confirmed by the US government. So, documents were released and see people, places, and events without physical contact. Wow. Psychics were trained, tested, and used to gather intelligence on enemy again, again, acknowledged, forgotten. So why do we act like the dark and the mysterious really doesn't exist when the US government itself is using these things to their advantage? Governments study psychics, rituals, symbols, and not because they believe in fantasy. It's because belief itself is a weapon. So we as people are just magical
All right, I'm gonna run it right back real quick. Little technical issues.
You believe will manifest itself into your physical reality, which is why we talk about religion and most belief systems. I honestly listen because it's honestly whatever you believe in, whether it's a rock, whether it's God, whether it's Jesus. You experience I guess I want to say miracles in your personal life as long as you believe that that thing for you. Witchcraft doesn't require chance. It requires repetition, symbolism, emotional charge, fear, and a population that doesn't, it's participating. Let that last part sink in. Trauma is the ritual. Media cycles, vigils, and selective fear alters behavior faster than any law ever could. Modern mind control doesn't look like possession. It looks like people thinking the same thoughts, reacting the same way, fearing the same things, and then just calling it normal, right? The greatest psychological operation ever conducted wasn't hidden, actually. It was happening, and conspiracy theorists has been trying to warn the masses, but ever believed them. It was done in plain sight, and it convinced people that nothing like this could ever happen again. But if it truly ever ended, because apparently this whole thing is over, right? I mean, Ultra, all of this, the government stopped. But if it truly ever ended, why were the documents classified for decades? Why were the names redacted? Why were the violence compensated quietly or dismissed as unstable? And why do methods like this still exist? They didn't stop studying the mind. They just stopped asking for your mission. So in this video today, we're going to discuss and we're going to find all has been using mind or witchcraft, or what you want to call it. We are going to dive all of the different ways that the government has still been using mind control to control the masses. Mind control, aka witchcraft, aka voodoo, aka whatever you call it, because honestly, I think that science just explains mind control via. The US government has admitted to funding psychics, mind control experiments, and belief manipulation. So the question, they expose the occult, it's how to go and what they never declassified. So now let's go over the documented part. CIA and the psychics. Project Stargate, reviewing declassified CIA files or paranoia. They didn't shut it down. They shut it down because it was, quote, unreliable. So let's go over LSD, Hypnosis Association, human experimentations, records destroyed. When a government admits wrongdoing after destroying most of the evidence, that's not transparency. That's damage control. So now this is symbolism, using symbolism as power. The government uses rituals. So inaugurations, oaths, sacred buildings. So a rich psychological binding. And if rituals didn't work, governments would still be using it today. Okay? So now let's go into numerology, astrology, documented, not conspiracy. Okay? So I know in this video a lot of things, mixing a lot of conspiracy theories make facts. But there are a lot of things, if I'm saying then these are things that are documented. If I'm saying conspiracy, then these are just simply theories. So now how does the government use numerology and astrology? This is documented, not a conspiracy. So Reagan astrology has been election timing, war dates, stock market behavior. So this is how it is believed to be used. And in this belief system, numbers are not neutral. They carry meaning and constants, which is so interesting to me because people who don't believe in zodiac signs, believe in 111, 222s, or angel numbers, whatever, they oftentimes say that the people who believe in those things are schizophrenic or crazy or manic. Meanwhile, the government themselves of these things, the government themselves know the significance of dates and what they add up to and what those numbers
I can't even
signify.
get
Sorry, English. So, to those of y'all who are not using numbers astrology to your advantage, you're just letting a lot of money on the table. I'm just saying because the government is using.
Beware of day trading options. It's one of the fastest ways to lose all of.
Not a coincidence, but ironic. Yeah, that's the word, ironic. How that ad came up right after what she was talking about. And there's a reason for that as well. Why they always advertising these apps, these quick get rich schemes, these false sense of hope and finance. It's a reason why it's always mainstream. Why they send so many advertisements about it.
Now, power structures don't ask, is this logical? They ask, is this aligned? Whatever it is that they're doing, they pick a specific that they're like, it's not about logic. It's not about science. It's not about a fact. It's about knowing for a fact that this number will equal to this. So if we're chasing, we would launch a project, we would launch something important on a day where like the number aligns with that of success, if that is making any sense. The Reagan, this is the moment believers point to and say they admitted to it once, so why stop there? So what happened? Ronald Reagan's schedule was influenced by astrology. Major events were time based on star charts. His belief within conspiracy wasn't superstition. It wasn't risk management, cosmic timing. The takeaway for believers: if astrology was accessible once, it never really left. It just quiet. Okay? Keep that in mind. Election timing plus numerology and the belief. Elections are not just political events. They are mass rituals. Believers say timing is chosen based on numerological resonance of dates, astrological transits, symbolic beginnings, and rebirths. Why timing matters in this belief: if emotion peaks on certain fear, hope, anger, or division are easier. Numbers chart the event or it happened. Example: belief logic. Repeating numbers equals amplification. Master numbers equals intensified outcomes equals predictability. Now let me know if you guys want me to. So the election isn't just about votes. It's about when consciousness is most pliable. Okay? War dates, vice, and alignments. Now this is one of the darkest. Believers argue that wars are never random. Major conflicts begins on a symbolic way. Numbers are chosen to turn fear into collective memory. So why do the numbers matter here? Certain recur across conflicts. Numbers become anchors for trauma. Trauma locks belief into population. So within the theory of the spell, that's why anniversaries are replayed. Numbers are repeated endlessly. Elves become symbols of power. So we all remember 9/11. We all remember 12/25, right? We all remember specific dates. Numerology and the stock market. Now this is one of my favorite to get into, because with market, it's not as gambling as you think. It is making educated guess, but your luck on your side. So this is where conspiracies get very specific. Markets don't move only on economics. They move on collective emotions, which numbers influence, right? Which influence the numbers, whatever. Believers say crashes aligned with numerological cycles. Confidence rises on others. Numbers are believed to signal endings, sets, signal expansion, or so So why does this matter? Traders act emotionally, despite what you think. Emotion follows pattern. So timing becomes when to release information, whether or not to release logic, and that all of these things happening is just logical, and science can explain it, and it's just looking at a pattern. Wow, my light just died. Looking
Mhm.
at a pattern to see. The government doesn't want me talking about.
Hey, first DM me right afterward. And you see there is energy at work here, whether it be you, the viewer, or just the big brother watching, how this shit go. But we're gonna carry on. Hmm. No, it's not. And I bet y'all they do go hand in hand. And I'll break it down just a little bit. Psychology, right? What is psychology? It's basically the study of the human mind. And when you study the human mind, you know how to basically control the human body. Meaning, this is the way that you are able to use magic and manipulate the minds of men and women. So, for example, right? Psychology. Everybody thinks certain patterns, react to certain traumas a certain way. The archetype, different personalities of people, basically the minds of people, how they conduct themselves in public settings. This is something I like to study, to understand people. Not all people are the same, but there are roots to what people are. There are pinpoints to what a person can become and what a person might evolve into. The evolution of mankind is tricky. I'm watching a TV show now that has characters in it that's younger than what I've previously seen them. I watch this show called The 4400 on Tubi. Pretty good, really interesting, nevertheless. But anyway, before I started watching this, I was watching my favorite two shows, which comes on today, is on now actually, and comes on tomorrow. And what I'm talking about is Chicago PD, which is on Tubi right now on Ion Station, and also Chicago Fire comes on tomorrow on the same station on Tubi Network. It's two people I just seen on that show, which I didn't really know who they were until I like start hearing them and recognizing who this person is, and come to find out, two of the actors, one on Chicago Fire and the one on Chicago PD. The one on Chicago PD, he's like one of the main characters. And I was like, wow, the evolution of this guy. I would have never knew who he was. He just was a familiar face, not a familiar spirit, because I don't really know him like that. But from the way that he acts, I got a chance to get to know him over time watching the season of Chicago PD, different seasons of Chicago PD with him in it. Seeing him evolve throughout that time, because it was a good span where he aged a bit. So from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, he aged quite a bit. He looks a little bit different. But on this show that I'm watching now, he's way younger than what I seen him on Chicago PD, and I didn't even know who he was at first. I was just like, where did I see him from? He's a familiar face. I was like, wow, some people age, and this is no put down or anything like that. It's just some people age so dramatically, it's hard to tell who they are. And they just had me baffled for a while. I just had to speak on that for a bit. He didn't age bad at all. Just so different from how he looks and how he acts, because he's a younger guy. Like, this probably was one of his first TV shows, and a lot of actors that are on there, it's probably with their first. first jump, first main series type of situation when they was becoming beginner actors. Like the girl Nikita, she's on there as well. But she's I forget what her role is. She's not a main character, but she's in it, and a lot of other people are in there as well. I think that before. That's good. Yeah. I don't think about that. Wow, it turned into a musical. I used to show, and it is good, really good actually. It's about all of the tales, the queens. You know, you got Snow White, Cinderella, and whoever the fuck else. And then you got Aladdin. What's the dude name? Uh, Different, basically all of the Disney characters. It's one main dude though who I can't remember his name. I want to say what's this guy name? Jack B. Nibble or something like that. Maybe it's him, maybe it's not. I don't really remember. But anyway, long story short, it's about magic. The whole thing is about magic. And this town that they're in, once upon a time, like she said, the whole town's under a spell. They don't know what's going on. They're asleep. Similar to what I just was talking about earlier. If you go check out my last video, it'll sum up everything that we're talking about now. Her and me. I just dropped her link in the description if y'all want to check out the full video and go run up her page. Me and her think alike. We be on the same topic. That's why I like watching her videos and other people. It's not more so for entertainment, but for education. She's really wise and just a light bulb in a dark room. A lot of information that she has is very useful. And she don't make well, she do, I guess. You could say it's for entertainment, but nevertheless it's something to learn from at the end of the day. Like I do like to be entertained, but I spend more time learning than I do actually just entertainment, because you can spend a lot of time being entertained and not really advance your life from entertainment, right? If I'm going to spend 6 months just entertainment, I need to have 6 months worth of some type of knowledge, some type of advancement that I can move forward in life with something, right? I need to be learning something from being entertained. Just like with Once Upon a Time, I was learning a lot until it became a musical. It kind of threw me off. So I was like, yeah, I'm done with that one. But it's just an eye opener for those of you who do know about psychology, who do know a little bit about spells and hexes, because they're all different things. A spell is different from a hex. A hex is different from a curse. But at the end of the day, like the whole town is sleeping and you can see it. And so a few people are awoke and they're trying to wake the rest of them up, but it's an ongoing battle. And it's a battle of magic. The whole thing is about magic. The Holy Grail, that cup. Um, it's a lot. It's real deep though. It's dope, and it's like I don't want to spoil it, but it's like 9 seasons, I believe. You'll get wrapped up in it and being like season 5 in no time. It's pretty good, really good. I got the hiccups, but don't take it as mere entertainment because some of that stuff in there will really help you in life. When you're battling certain things. Mm. Hmm. Good shit. Like, I mean, I like to sit here, but people like to be watching videos, and this is a video, and it's a lot of information that can help save somebody's life. A lot of people like to dibble and dabble in the magic, spirituality, whatever you want to call it. Beyond this physical mirror realm, people like to explore mushrooms, LSD, whatever type of hallucination drugs that they be taking just to get an experience of what we really are, and who we really are. It's a question that a lot of people want answers to, so they go seek different ways of doing so. Now, before we go too far, though, I am going to say like a lot of this stuff is real. A lot of this stuff is beneficial. A lot of this stuff is helpful. Me being a Christian as well, certain things I do look forward to, like with numbers. I do know the power of numbers, and I do use it to my advantage. When the spirit is speaking to me, it speaks through numbers, and I look for those confirmations throughout the day. Not every number means the same thing, and this isn't any. Uh, I don't really know what to call it. It's not nothing external or internal. I don't really know how to explain what I'm trying to say. The only thing I do know is that you have to be careful with certain signs and symbols, especially if you don't have any knowledge or insight on what things means to you. So therefore, what I'm saying is like my chief cornerstone is Jesus Christ. How I learned how to tap into the spirit world through this channel, right, through Jesus. And also, with that being said, me having a personal relationship with Jesus, there are certain different things that I can do that is for me and for my benefits and for my power and my protection that, may seem weird to other people. Therefore, if I was to explain how certain things work for me, it would sound like witchcraft or it would sound like magic or whatever it would sound like, right? That's where the difference between me and other people lies right here, right now. The things that work for me are for me, right? The things that I've learned is for me. A lot of people, just like with dreams and like with gifts and with any and everything, a lot of things, some things people give away too freely and it doesn't work for everybody. I'm not saying that what you're saying is a lie or is wrong. It's just certain things are for you and you own. Something y'all might have certain practices that your family does, certain rituals, like you may do something as far as keeping money in your family. You might put money in your pocket or under your pillow from the end of this day to the beginning of the new year. And, different little things that different people do. You might eat greens, you might eat beans, you might sit under a table eating grapes. Like, I don't know, right? Whatever people do, that's what they do. But the thing about it is, you have to tap into your roots. This is where it gets tricky, where people say, oh, ancestral worship. You can say that, yeah. It comes down to that, yeah. If your grandmother was a person who does certain things that the spirit has told her to do and it's working for her and her family, that's for her and her family. The problem with that is it goes down to the generations, and certain generations start exposing their family secrets, and then they thinking that they can sell their certain knowledge to everybody. And some people it will work for, and some people will not. Just like we're all different tribes, everybody go to 1, 2, 3 ancestry or genealogy or whatever, right, to figure out who their roots are to connected to. Certain tribes we might be separated, but we have the same similar beliefs. Like some things that my family do, your family might do as well. That must mean that we're from the same tribe. So me telling you certain information that will resonate with your spirit and it'll work for you. It's nothing about magic or ancestral worship or anything like that. It's just the power that the Lord has on my family and my bloodline, the things that work for us. That's why when I be commenting on people's stuff, like, hey, be mindful of going out here seeking different little rituals, different little spells, different um little things to do for different little what they call it, different little perks in your life, right? Like a lot of people, they do moon worship. The moon does work. A lot of people don't do it right. A lot of people like to do all type of things for money, for health, for protection, for whatever the case may be. My thing is, and what I'm saying is if you have a relationship with God, God will teach you exactly what to do and how to do it. And when He teach it for you, it's for you. You know, some things are not for everybody. That's basically all that I'm saying. And for those of you who are out here seeking for different little contraptions to use to help better your life, I'm talking basically to people like you. The only encouragement and only advice I can really give you is to spend time getting to know yourself, getting to know who your creator is, you know, whether God is real or God is fake. You have nothing to lose by getting to know who Jesus is and getting to know what he's about, getting to know why he created you and the purpose that you're here for. I don't think anybody can really truly find their purpose without Christ, without their creator. You know, a lot of people dabble into this situation that I'm warning you guys to not indulge in because something might work for you. You might get something from somebody, you might get something from somebody else. You might get something from a lot of different bodies. But what that does is it empowers you to be basically your own God, powers in your own hands. And what happens with that is a lot of people like to get too arrogant. They get a boost of ego, they get a boost of power, and then they eventually hurt themselves and others around them. That's why these are the ones that you see giving out their testimonies about a X this or X that. You know the story, how it goes. They used to partake in dabbling in this stuff. And now all of a sudden they're X'd out of it because they realize the true power of spirituality and what power comes with it. Not only that, but what problems come as well. A lot of people love to have fun with the spiritual realm and all of these practices until they're too open and they can't protect themselves from all of the other things that comes with being open to the spiritual realm. Calling on different entities, making different covenants, aka different agreements and stuff like that, right? You have to denounce certain things just so that you can be free and that you can really see what it is. It's no different than Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh back in their times when they were in positions of power and they went against the true light, the true power of God, and they was realizing that all of the magic that they have, all of the necromancy, all of these dead spirits that give them knowledge, that give them power to do certain things, it just wasn't enough compared to the true light, the true power of God. And this is where these people failed to realize that they were on the wrong side all along. And their hearts were so hardened that they didn't have a chance to repent and to see the truth on what was really going on because their ego wouldn't allow them to break free from their high horse. Even when they was losing in the battles of power, the battles of magic, their hearts were so hardened that they just couldn't give it up. They couldn't see the truth even when it was right in front of them. And that's the problem with dabbling into these different things, you know. Some things do work. Some things work excellent. They work perfect. But if these things aren't for you, they're not going to keep you sustained throughout this lifetime. And once you fall victim to the consequences that come with it, you'll be meeting your maker and have to explain to him why you never took a chance to answer his calling. Because Jesus is always calling us to get right, pick up our cross, and change our ways and repent from being lost. But this video that she's explaining is gonna break everything down because she's really dope and she know a lot about this type of stuff as well as I do. And the way that she break it down is really, really informative. But yeah, we gonna go through a little bit and we gonna end this. Mhm. Man, I got to just stop. This is my last time. I'm glad she said something about that because I don't watch sports. But I witnessed something that I never ever forget just this past Saturday. The Bears was playing the Packers, right? And they always texting your phone, hitting you with commercials, advertising through this social media apps, whatever, right? They're letting you know that the game is about to be on and you have the chance to partake in it by watching and or by betting. So either way it go, they're advertising for you to partake in sports, partake in gambling. And the thing about this is, right, it's all entertainment. Like I believe they have talent, yes. I'm not taking away the talent from the athletes. But what I do, and it's for entertainment and allegedly, right, that they are all actors as well. They're good athletes plus actors. So in my mind, like I'm so tapped into my spirit and I can discern certain things that's gonna happen. I'm like, they're at first I thought they was gonna lose, but I'm like, okay, this entertainment. If they lose, then my prediction is right. And therefore, as far as the gambling goes, a lot of people not gonna put no money into it because they're already winning. And they're like, okay, it's an easy bet, right? But guess what? No, it's not. We still have to entertain you all. So the script was written that, of course, the Packers are the favorite. They're going to win, especially what I thought because the way that they was winning, it's an easy win. But if you watch the game all the way through, it was the last quarter where they end up tying up and going into overtime. Anyway, to make a long story short, right? Once the Bears finally won, they the numbers was symbolic as well because it was 4 minutes and 50 seconds in a overtime, which is the number 9. And then also they interviewed a dude with the number 18 on his chest, which was another number 9, which was completion. If you didn't know, like she was saying, numbers mean things, and the number 9 is the symbol for completion. 10 really doesn't exist. 10 is basically number 1 all over again. But anyway, right? So those were two signs and symbols that I noticed that this was a part of a script. And when they started to interview the guy, he kept on, winking the eye and he rubbing his head. He letting them know, like, I'm with the team. Thank you for the win. I'm playing my role. I'm vowing my pledge allegiance. You feel me? Just like if I'm on here throwing up my sign, I'm letting y'all know who I'm rocking with. You feel me? Or whatever they doing, right? You know these signs and symbols what they mean. Like this the game. This who I'm with. And he kept doing. He kept doing. I'm like, dude, he got a bug in his eye or something. They get him about the way he wasn't doing it right. Usually they go like this or they be slick with the hand symbols and the eye symbols and all of that, right? But I was just like, this entertaining. It's very entertaining. If I didn't think of it any other way, I would be a fan like, oh, my team did it. Or I would be like, my team didn't do it or whatever. It was a good game, right? Of course, it was a nice entertainment situation. A lot of teams played, but nobody was really worried about showing up to see any other teams play other than what the Bears and the Packers, the two rivals. Even with Detroit Lions, I'm pretty sure they got some up their sleeve to where they're going to have a nice little entertaining game for you all to watch. But like she said, if you're not spiritually educated, because a lot of people know a lot of things, they believe a lot of things, right? And that's nice. But once you believe something, your belief can easily be transferred to a doubt, or it could easily be transferred into faith in whatever it is you solely started to believe in. I don't believe in anything. If I don't know it to be true, if I don't know it for a fact, it's just not even nothing to consider, right? And that's just me and my train of thought. That's how I think about things. So I don't be amongst other believers because I'm not a believer. For people who don't have a solid foundation, a solid relationship with God, I don't like to talk to them. I don't care what you believe. I believe you may make it to heaven. And then again, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's why I don't believe because I'm not sure. But anyway, right, I do know for a fact that numbers hold weight, numbers hold meaning, numbers have value. More value than what they represent as far as on paper or on screens. These numbers have energy attached to it. That number 9, when I seen it twice, I know that this was the completion of a ritual or of some type of agreement that he had going on. And the way that he kept on doing it to the camera, he was letting the other people know that, yeah, I'm with the team, I'm down, and I'm going to do what I got to do to play my role in this organization. That's the same thing you see a lot of these people do. When I was watching the commercial, the lady was talking, Hispanic is a Hispanic, what they call it, cast, right? They're casting the spells, they're broadcasting on the stream live or whatever. One person wasn't casting the right spells. She was starting to uplift the consciousness of people. And then she said something that was inspiring. And then she got to going a little bit heavy on the inspiration. She was like, we should be able to do this and do this, do that to make the world better. Woo, woo, woo. And then they was like, well, everybody else, they got kind of like, oh, is this Jesus in our bunch? Because you know what we do. We with this, we with that, whatever, whatever. Everybody got so uncomfortable with what she was saying, they hurried up and cut her off. And they was like, start trolling a little bit. They was like, oh, the way that I came up, I believe God. And of course, they're not going to say Jesus at all. They're going to keep saying God. And this is what he was saying. And another guy backing them up. And they're doing exactly like this. They're doing like this. Every single one of the guys pledging their allegiance. And they're letting everybody know to each other and to the people watching that we're going to hold our bargain. We're going to keep on playing our role. This lady that's speaking out of turn, she not with the clique because she start getting uncomfortable looking around like if she's seeing spirits or something. Like, I read body language, and from what I've understood and understand, that she got very uncomfortable once they start pledging allegiance. They put that room back in the dark energy, and she wasn't really saying much anymore. They ended I ended the segment because it was a commercial. But I ended it just knowing that these people are psyops, control oppositions, and they're going to play their roles. And there was a lot of people that had me disappointed. Like, I love Miguel. Um, what's dude name off of The Shy, the one that had all of the kids? He's a singer as well. I can't even think of his name. It was him, Miguel. He the one with the fro. Uh, and it was like two other guys. One dude, he a skateboarder. He had a Nike deal as a youngster. He's not Tony Hawk or Rob Dyrdek. He's another guy. I don't know him. I never really knew him. And another guy was an older, light skinned guy with glasses, Hispanic. And the lady, she was a comedian. I don't know her as well, but she was like an Hispanic comedian. Was talking about her trials and tribulations as a colored person here in America and how hard it is for Hispanics. The same struggles as Afro Americans experience as far as equality, and how we have to really fight for a fair chance to have anything. I'm not saying that all black people have this problem, but majority of us do. The ones that don't, they are the ones who are manipulating the masses and using us as entertainment. Like people love to see a black guy entertain them, and that's it. That's all. Just like they was doing before Trump got in office. You hear all of these people advocating for him, and now he's in office. You don't see them. You don't hear them. They're not needed anymore. And it is what it is, right? Just like what's the black girl name? Uh I can't even think of her name right now. I want to say Candace Owens. Yeah. Where's she at, right? When they need a black face, they will grab a black person and they'll use them up. And she still haven't learned her lesson either. And that's what a lot of black people, I mean, it is what it is, right? But yeah, signs and symbols, you know who these people with. You know exactly who they with. That's what she was just showing. All of them doing those signs, they all pledge allegiance to the same higher ups, to the same deity or God, or whoever it is that they are serving. And it's no coincidence that they do this all the time. They're letting you know who they clique is. I just had to bring it up. Like, if you watch the replays, their last, basically when they won, when Chicago won, and right soon as they won, as soon as he hit that touchdown, that's what you need to see, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. How number 18, I don't know the players and stuff like that. I don't keep up with sports. I don't watch niggas like that. I don't really care. I really stopped being into sports when Michael Jordan was done and over with. But I mean, I'm not knocking anybody who do or don't. You know, I could care less. I'm just letting you know what I noticed and what's going on and what I think about it all. It's all just for entertainment purposes only, and this is alleged. But there are big rituals going on within these games. And like she was saying, they use energy, right? What was this? The 19th. No, this was the 20th. This was the 20th, I believe, where this game was played. It's pretty interesting though. Like those numbers, I'll never forget. I was seeing those numbers line up, so I was like, "Oh, this is completion. It's completed now." And also, the guy that had the winning touchdown, he was number two, I believe. He was number two, and the guy that tackled him was number 24. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Just like 9/11, right? Why you think it happened the day of completion? They had to complete that mission, and it was so. For her, and we gonna end this on that. A clear visual that I can think of when watching They Clone Tyrone was everybody was in a restaurant eating chicken, right? It's in the chicken, it's in the food. But nevertheless, another powerful scene in that same scene within that same moment, the music that they was listening to, it had them all in a trance. Uh the commercial that came on to get them to go to the store, the music that was playing with that had them feeling away, right? And of course, you all can contest to feeling a certain way from listening to your favorite song, whether it uplifts you or it brings you down, makes you want to smile, makes you want to cry, makes you want to turn up. It makes you want to do these things from listening to it. That is the influence and the power of influence that music has. And the only way to combat this influence is to be mindful of what you're intaking, what you're entertained by, and what you choose to be entertaining. So, with that being said, it's always a battle of the mind. Always. So I advocate for mental health awareness. I'm team member Aaron Glenn, private personal consultant. If you like this type of content, if there was some type of value, I ask you just to simply subscribe to my my channel. Put the link in the description below that you can go check out her videos, her channel. She's a lot of really, really good information. They're usually on a spooky, scary type, and I do like the spooky, scary. That's my alley. I'll tell y'all guys one quick, scary story that I've experienced. Uh, and this was not long ago. So, and this is another thing too, is why I want to be sober coming into this new year and just protect my mind, chasing after getting high and not in making the weed more and more accessible. I had the wrong ideas on it, and I feel like I went a little too hard. But then again, I had a moment to think about it, and I feel like I didn't go hard enough. The truth is hard to hear sometimes. It's hard to accept sometimes. But nevertheless, it is what it is. To live in truth is better than living in a lie. And the truth of the matter is, getting high isn't the way to live life, right? People always be like, oh, it's a stress relief, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, and I'm telling you from an experience, once you decide to alter your mind, you decide to vibrate on a lower frequency, meaning that you're opening yourself to lower vibrations and lower things that comes with it. A lot of people have died chasing a high. I know a few myself. And it can happen to anybody off of anything. Smoking a little weed, right? Everything normal, everything cool. Now all of a sudden, it gets to the point where, and I've never had these experiences before, so I could be medically wrong. And if you do know what symptoms or whatever, you could correct me in the comments. We could chat about this. But anyway, right? Life happens fast. Some stuff you're not prepared for, some stuff you cannot get prepared for. Team Angie was founded off the suffering of my late great sister. She committed suicide December 6th, 2011. Nothing in the world can prepare you for losing a sibling. Nothing in the world can teach you how to deal with the loss afterward. Nothing in the world can heal your heart. It's just nothing in the world can help you deal with this. I'm bringing this up because nothing in the world can help you from dying. Nothing but the grace of God. Some people, they die instantly. Some people, they die over time. I had an experience where I felt like I was dying over time. Was high, cool, everything cool. And then within the blinking of an eye, everything was changing as far as feeling like I'm having a heart attack. My heart was beating really, really hard. My mind was going out of my body. I was having an out of body experience. And also, I couldn't breathe at the same time. And the way that I was feeling as far as my spirit coming up, I wasn't outside my body, but I was out enough to where my conscious was outside of my head. And I was conscious that I was conscious of that. I was aware of that what was the situation. And with that being a situation half in and half out, I couldn't breathe. And my heart is beating really, really fast to the point where it's starting to not work anymore. And the only thing that I could think of is I don't want to die, but if I do, this is how I'm gonna go and start thinking about those things really, really fast. They say your life flash by, and you don't have much time to think about anything, but you know, uh, this is it. Who's gonna find me? Who am I gonna affect? You think about these things slightly, right? And then you think about like, do I just keep going because I have no control, or what do I do? And this is a part of dying slow. I can only imagine if it was just a you out of there. I was going pulled slow. But the thing about it was, it wasn't my time. It was not my time. While this stuff going on, I'm like, damn, I'm finna die. I'm probably finna have a heart attack. So my heart is beating really, really hard, and I can't breathe, and everything's happening fast. And what do I do? Um, I don't know. But as I was starting to like, just go with the flow, that's when this darkness came over. The air got dark, the air got thick, and it came in from where I was sitting in. It came in from a direction through the door. And it filled the whole room up, meaning it filled the whole universe up. And instantly I was thinking like, oh, if I do die, then I'm probably finna go with whatever this is that's coming to get me. And it's not God. Finna go to hell is exactly what I was thinking. And I was so scared, just really, really scared. Like whatever this is that just came in, it was fear. I didn't see it, I just felt it. And it's within the whole room. I just feel it all around. And I feel it like, just submerged me. Like if this is the universe that I'm going into within this realm with this thing, with this energy that I'm feeling, and I'm feeling just afraid, very, very afraid. Also, I'm about to die too, is what I'm feeling. So I'm like, damn, if I do let go, then this is who I'm going with, and whoever that I'm gonna go with, this is very, very scary, and I don't want to be. I don't want. I haven't seen anything, mind you. That I'm just feeling all of this stuff, what I'm feeling is fear, a lot of it. So me being me and me kind of aware of what's really going on at this point, I start tapping into my spirit, starts back tapping into my spiritual powers and stuff like that. I start combating this energy with what I know. And it was a battle of the mind right then and there. We battling it out. I'm telling this thing like, you don't have the power over me. I'm a child of God. I'm a child of the light. I am not afraid. And I started standing my ground. And we just going back and forth with this until I was back in my physical conscious. And my heart is still really, really beating really, really fast because, that was an experience that just randomly happened. I done smoked so many times, so many years of my life, and I've never ever had this experience before. But um, I can only imagine, if that was my last day and I was to die and go to hell, because that's exactly what was pulling for me. God was like, "No, you can't have them," because it was pulling really hard. And after I finally come back to like, whatever, I'm not. I'm like, only thing I could think of, to be honest, to be 100% honest, is like I'm vibrating low. I choose to get high. I want to be sober right now. Like I don't want to die high. I don't want to be in this state of mind forever. And that's exactly what happened. You just, oh, I'm finna get high. I'm cool. You might smoke. You might shoot up. You might drink. You might do whatever. But when you're intoxicated and you're not sober, that's the wrong state of mind to be in the spiritual world. Because what comes for you is not a good sight. It's not. And I didn't see anything, but the things that I have seen, it wasn't pretty. It was scary to see. Having night terrors, different stuff like that, different cryptoids or whatever you want to call these things that in and out of our reality, in and out of our realm, in and out of our dimension, whatever. I don't know what these things are, where they come from. But like she was saying, like, it's more than just this mere physical body. This world that we're living in is way more than the naked eye can ever even imagine. And it's things that are not so pretty in this world. Even us human beings, not every body inside these bodies are the spirit that we inhabit. Some spirits are into these bodies that aren't spirits of the light. And I feel like whatever that spirit was trying to use my body for the darkness because the energy that came with it was very, very strong, very, very powerful. And if you ever seen or if you ever done it, pull the dog by the head and drag that motherfucker like that, or any animal, a pup, right? You know how dogs or bears they carry their pups by the back of the neck and they pull them up. That's what it felt like whatever that thing was pulling my spirit out of my body like this, but not all the way out, just enough to where my heart is finna come out my chest, and it's starting to slow down because I'm coming all the way out, but I'm like stuck trying to stay in and trying to get the breath. Like it's weird to explain, but it was like, damn, I'm probably ain't gonna win this battle because I was almost out of there and I was just like, man, when you about to give up that battle for life, but when that thing come in to come get you, you like, oh hell no, I'm not going with you. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, I don't care about dying. I'm not scared to die, but I don't want to go with whatever that was. Like, nah, that was fearful. It was scary. And it was like, this dude that I met years ago, making good on his promise. He was like, "You gonna remember this face when I send you to hell?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." I wanted to beat his ass. I was like, "If you is God, then I'm ready to knock your ass out because I feel disrespected." And my God wouldn't disrespect me like that. I know for a fact. And then I got to thinking all type of thoughts the enemy was playing on my mind. Like, it was just the abomination what I'm thinking and what I was, what I want to say. But nevertheless, I was like, I beat his A, and I was just ready to go meet him and go battle like at that moment because I was like really upset. And I was like, it was hard to control that anger because what I would have done to him, I would have regret. He would have been happy. But anyway, I was like, maybe that was him making good on his promise because he was really adamant about what he said he knew. And I was like, well, damn, am I really, I felt it was racist. And then again, I didn't know what to think about it. Like, it was a weird experience, like you can't imagine certain things like this to even happen to you, You don't know what you would do if something like this had happened to you. Like, if you was to tell me your story about what I'm telling you, I'd be like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. But in all actuality, until something like this happens, you really don't know how you would feel, what you would do, and stuff like that, right? What I did was compose myself. I held my anger. One time I didn't do that. I let my anger out. And I committed a crime towards somebody, just putting out my anger on them, and I beat their ass. Did way more than I should have. But it's just hurt people hurt people. And if you don't check that, you'll be the one out here doing these things. But yeah, just to be sober, right? Because that could happen to anybody. It almost happened to me. And I did take a little time off. That's probably why I was like, it was like 2 weeks ago. Just took a break. Because at first I felt like it was a personal attack from the LDS people that I ain't been messing with. They've been trying to get me to join them or whatnot. They really, really persistent. They worse than Jehovah Witnesses, to be honest. And they don't know that I know that the Jesus that they serve isn't the Jesus that I serve. We don't talk about the same Jesus at all. And you got to be careful who you making agreements with, who you going to church with. Just because they say they believe is a Jesus, you might not be believing the same Jesus. Might not even be worshiping the same God. Even with Christians, some of these people are Freemasons. Some of these people are different type of cults. That's why you got to know God for yourself. Don't let these people teach you their demons. Allow these demons to come into your homes, praying over you with these demons. Like one guy was in church, not in church, but in jail with. He was a Jehovah Witness. They got a whole different Bible, just like the LDS, Latter Day Saints. And he used to be like praying to Jehovah. I was like, yeah, you can do that on your time. We don't pray to Jehovah. I don't care what y'all call him. You could call him Yeshua, whatever, right? That's that new age stuff. I'm not with all of that, and I don't pray like that, and I'm not finna start. So I didn't allow him to pray with us anymore, which was my decision. He used to join our Bible studies. It was cool, but at the end of the day, like, dog, nah, we got two different views of this whole situation, and you're gonna have to go with some other Jehovah Witnesses, because whatever y'all was taught, whatever y'all believe is not the same as what we taught and what we believe, and we don't have no time for confusions. I can read my Bible, I can understand it. I'm never lost, I'm never confused. And before I always pick up my Bible, I always pray for discernment as well, to be led to the passages that I need for the day or for the week or for whatever. I'm never sitting here like lost in all of these texts and Now, don't get me wrong. There are some stuff in the Bible that's unnecessary, like as far as his heritage and stuff like that. When they talk about this guy married to this guy, and so all of that unnecessary shit, right? I don't care about all that, and it does get a little confusing unless you writing down the family tree or who these people is and what they was and all this and that. But that's if that's where you're led to, to understand that part of the Bible. I haven't really been led to understanding that part. It's not confusing at all. It's just information I could care less for. So that's where that goes. It's not. I'm not reading it because I understand it's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's I'm not reading it because it's not valuable information that I consider that I need to know at this moment and point in time. But yeah, she did a really good job at wrapping this up and showing you the differences between whatever how people like to be confused, like, oh, you do um hood work, what they call it, woo or voodoo, witchcraft, whatever, right? People love to confuse you with the titles, but at the end of the day, we are talking about the same damn thing. Talking about energy, how people use energy, and how people manipulate it as well. It's not rocket science. It's not no mystical thing that happens. It's everyday common sense. It's everyday awareness or unawareness. These things are being used and put in motion. It's the music you listen to, it's the movies you watch. All of these things play a part in the messages that they're sending to your brain. We just did something about dreams in the similar way that they get their influence. They plant the seed and they water the seed. They don't just scare you right away to scare you because that's who they are and what they do. Contrary to popular belief in the movies that you see, that's not how they operate. It's not how they rotate. The way that they come is a bit scary because it's subtle, it's consistent, persistent, to the point where they got you believing and living out their beliefs. Same way that the government is doing, and this is alleged entertainment purposes as well, that they got you guys living out their beliefs, especially for people who don't think for themselves. They tell you guys what his story is, and you believe his story. You can never ever question reality. You can never see it for yourself. Just like once upon a time, the blinders are on for a lot of people, and they're just trapped in a spell, not seeing the truth, not seeing the day of light, not questioning anything, just going with the flow. Like, what was that TV show where they was all in the neighborhood and there was a movie? Everybody was playing a role. Only one person in the whole town know that this shit was a movie. It was scripted. The Truman Show. Yeah, I encourage you guys to watch that if you haven't seen it. And also, Once Upon a Time, to see how magic is being used on a bigger level than what you would imagine. It's not a wand waving around, and the reason why people using this stuff in the way that they are using it. It'll give you a really, really good insight if you watch a few episodes of Once Upon a Time. It's really dope. I'm about to go watch my TV show in a bit. Um, I just started this show called The 4400. So why I'm watching this is because I seen something called The V. They're called The Visitors, right? It's similar to that, but not so much. So what happened with The V, right? The Visitors, they're kind of like AI Atlas. They came, big old mothership, and they hovered around different cities, and they had one spokeswoman who was telling them how they finna integrate into human society and how they're here and what their plans are and how they're gonna give us technology and this, that, whatever, right? It was a whole little thing of what they had going on. And they was reptilian people for entertainment purposes. And it was kind of weird and odd, but it had me thinking about people here on earth, people amongst us, right? You look at some people and you just wonder like what's to them. Are they a human being like me and you, or are there some different spirit within that body? Who knows, right? And then a lot of them do use energy to manipulate the way that you see them so that you won't even notice that they are the same as you and I. Anyway, right? The 4400 is something similar like that, but these people, they've been abducted with over the last 60 years, and then all of a sudden one day all of them came back within a ball of light. So they was kind of like AI Atlas, the way that they was coming to the Earth as far as a comet or whatever, in a uh what they call it, recourse. They was coming in one direction, and then they basically went to the side and went somewhere else, but they still came to Earth. Similar to AI Atlas, what they were saying, like, oh, it moved on its own, like, you know what I'm saying, really fast or whatever, whatever, right? Anyway, once it came, it was like a ball. They came in a ball, and that ball just was like it flashed a big bright light, and there go all of the 4,400 people just sitting there within this little area where they was at. So these people came back from being abducted. They've been aged a bit. Some people that was abducted in the 50s at 6 years old came back in 2020. I think it was 2002 or 2020 something. Basically, they all came back within the same day with like 2000s or something like that. I think it was 2002 or 22. I'm not even sure when this TV show came out. I'm gonna have to check. Um, the ones that got abducted earlier in the years, like within the 50s, 60s, whatever age they were still that same age. And since they've been back, well, like they've been back for like a year now. I'm not sure if they're still aging now or not. I don't know, but it seemed like some time has went past, and maybe they're still just that same age, because this one little girl was abducted in 1940. So no, she was abducted in 1945. I think she was born in 37 or something like that, because she's like 8 years old. So yeah, she was born in like 1933, 37. And when she came back in 2022 or something like that, she's still like the little 8 year old girl. And I think like 6 months to a year passed, and she's still like the little girl, whatever. I don't know. But I know for a fact, since they've been back, it's been a 6 month span since they've been back. Homeland Security is on top of this case, because some of them that has come back starting to display unnormal human behavior, meaning some of them are like metahumans now. They have different abilities, and it's really really interesting. It's getting really really strange as well. But what opened my awareness and my attention is this, as far as Homeland Security, because I've heard of them, and I love watching like these type of shows, as far as detectives, cops, CIA, FBI, all of them, right? The three-letter entities that do what they do and solve cases. So what I learned from this is that the Homeland Security deal with special cases like this. And what they really do is they don't want the public to know that this type of stuff is going on here in the States or within the earth, period. Because all of these people they came back to Washington. Some of them was from other places, whatever, but they all came to Washington when they came back from being abducted. Some of them went back to the countries that they were from and different states that they were from, but they all, uh, I believe they all was from Washington at one point in time, like as far as where they were born at, and they moved later on in life or whatnot, and they went back to where they moved to from later on in life. But majority of them, they have records there in Washington. So um, it was like Seattle, Washington, and some other places where the one of the headquarters at for Homeland Security. So they was basically on a mission to go figure out which one of these, how many of these 4,400 people have special abilities, what kind of special abilities do they have, and if they could get them and use them for research and or for using co-op missions. Pretty interesting, huh? Just like Stranger Things. I believe it's similar to that. Like they had one girl who was telepathic or whatever she could do, right? She had special abilities. I'm not sure if she was abducted or what. The original girl that they used for the whole entertainment of this film production, as far as Stranger Things, if you didn't know, now you know it was a real event, a real girl. Based off of this and the monster that they seen, they found that in Texas somewhere. They had sightings of that. So, entertainment sometimes is entertainment and sometimes it's a glimpse of reality that we really don't really want to acknowledge. But my thing about the whole thing, why I'm bringing it up, because these people are amongst us. Some of you may have special abilities that you keep to yourself because you don't want to be experimented on, or you know how this go. And I'm just being honest, like, a lot of people ain't gonna be like, hey, I could do it. I see a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube doing little stuff, moving stuff, whatever, right? I don't know if it's true or not. But I do believe that people have special abilities and they're amongst us and they do what they do. Um one guy, so this is the thing, right? The main guy, a lot of them came back, but he was the only one to capitalize off of the stuff that he went through. He basically like the main head of the 4400. And what he can do is he can control minds. Slightly different from mind reading, which another guy who can read minds as well. And I'll get to him in just a bit. But anyway, this guy, he controls minds. So what he does with his power is he goes to different buildings, use his willpower, his favor or whatever to buy these buildings. Like the building he got now, that's one of their camps. He basically did this, right? He started a whole bunch of boys and girls club, but they called it the 4400. He started a whole bunch of them for the people that came back and that's across the states that's dealing with being back in the world and trying to, adjust to being here now from wherever they was at. Majority of them, all of them, don't remember where they was at. Some of them was gone for the whole 60 years. Some of them was gone for like 3 years. But nevertheless, none of them remember anything from the time they were gone. And some of them, they're starting to find out that they have special abilities. Anyway, I'm probably telling the whole thing, but yeah, let me just give a little bit more. If you want to see, you can see it. You still have a lot of experience from watching this because it doesn't happen back to back. It's simultaneously across throughout the seasons. I'm only on the second one, and I fell asleep watching a lot of it. But anyway, he running the show, right? And he got one guy that's about as powerful as him, and he's a healer. And his family was acting weird with him, so he left, and he ended up being with dude. This dude ended up being his mentor, and they running the building. So they come across, and then like I was being back to the Homeland Security, they going to pick these people up once they find out that these people got powers and these people basically going out of control. Like the first guy that they found out about was an older guy. His power was if you piss him off, he'll use his mind and he'll basically like shatter your brain, like with the waves, the radio waves. He'll use those waves and basically like crack glass, crack skull, crack whatever he wants to. And he kept killing people. Not saying that he was trying to, but that's what he was doing when they pissed him off. So he was the first one on their radar. They couldn't really use him because he was doing his thing and he kept on dipping off. And he ended up dying from not being able to control his powers. The second guy, he was a mind reader, different from a mind controller. And once they found out that he was reading minds, they was in the room and it was like stuff that I know would get you killed. So they had a conflict in that room that they was having a meeting, and the guy that was like, I don't like this guy reading my mind, and he was basically about to kill him. And then uh they got on his heels. They about to kill this dude. So the one that I was telling you about, the healer, he's second in command. He get on dude and he basically like he'll suck your life out or he'll put life into you. So he put his hand on dude, he started sucking his life out and he like basically half dead. And this other guy, the one that was like, yeah, I don't like him, he was like, if y'all want to get shot up too, I advise y'all to, pipe down. So they get into this whole thing or whatever, whatnot. And the head dude, he was in there too. So he was like, they all getting into it. But anyway, he telling the guy like, you should have came to me so I could help you with your powers, and then going against me. And they basically trying to get people. It's kind of like some X-Men type shit because they get everybody in one facility and they work on their powers or they work on their mindset. They work on the people that came back that's different. And some of them, they end up, if they don't work for the government just keep them in a facility testing on them or whatever, running experiments. So it's pretty dope. Like they go finding out these. Not everybody has abilities. Just the ones that's coming across their radar. Not everybody know that they could do something either. Like uh, he got a son and a nephew. They both got abducted. They both almost got abducted, but one of them fell back down and he ended up going into a coma. The one with the healing powers, he was the one that got snatched up, which is the nephew, and he the one that ended up helping the cousin get out of the coma. He was in there for 3 years. So some of them they was abducted and they was missing for 3 years, and some of them was gone for the whole 60. So it's between like 1940, from the 40s to the last time I seen someone get kidnapped or abducted was like 2002 was the last time I believe, and they all came back like 2022 all at the same time. I'm gonna have to check it out and see when this TV show was filmed or whatnot. Pretty sure it was like 2014 or something like that. It's rated TV 14. I like to watch those ratings because it's not a lot of. All right, yes, there you go. Actually, it came out 2007. So yeah, it came out 2007. 2007. I probably heard about this. Probably didn't. I don't know. I don't really care. But what better time than now to catch up with it? I don't watch everything as soon as it come out. Sometimes I do, depending on what it is and what I got going on. But it's an in season message, especially with AI Atlas coming down. I'm not telling if those people are the same people that's missing now, or if they're like the V's, looking like us, but you know, way different. And a lot of times people be entertaining these entities not even knowing. Not everybody that look like us is us. And you would see it too within the show. Like you could tell, like you see people in the everyday walking life that act just like these aliens or these whatever else they is. I'm gonna step aside. If y'all want to check it out, it's free on Tubi. I don't pay for no TV shows and nothing like that. Of course, everything come with ads. You could purchase. Uh, I think they got some on there to purchase without the ads and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but I don't. I'm not sure. Even if you do purchase that you won't get ads. You know how they like to play with people. Can't really trust these people anyway. They always saying one thing, doing something else. But it's pretty dope though because at the end of the day, even with the powers that they got, it only could do so much. Everyone has different situations. Like with the healer, his mentor got sick. His girl that he was messing with, she a junkie, and she around a bunch of junkies, and he ended up helping one of them, and he was like, I can't help all y'all. And this is funny as hell though. Like the mentor told him though, like he was on point. He's like shit, basically trying to keep him afloat because the situation he in now from not listening to his mentor, he trying to clean up some mess. And that's where I left off at, trying to see if he'll be able to clean up the mess or not. Because they already got somebody else to take his spot. He had one in charge, but if he don't keep it running, they already got it lined up where he'll be up out of there. So the more I watch, the more I find out. I'll let you guys know what's going on, if he can hold his position or not. It's pretty dope. I don't even know what his name is on there, but on Chicago PD, he's the guy called Drew, and he's with the special unit. So Chicago PD is basically a special unit of detectives who work special cases. And majority of the cases that they work is like Popo the octopus. He came from Mexico and he's the cleanup guy. What's going on with him now, every time they come to somewhere he left, he leaves a head behind. So yeah, that's the situation with him. You're dealing with a head chopper. He's not playing no games and he's terrifying the neighborhood. And every time he doing this so much though, like they go find one body, as soon as they figure out who the body is, who the head is, they got to call for another one. And he's swiping them off left and right. So they trying to go stop him. Or it was a case where like a serial raper or something like that. I don't know what to call this type of guy. But basically that's what he was on. And they was trying to figure out where he at, where these girls at, and stuff like that. Like they handle special cases that the regular detectives they ain't handle. Just like with the Homeland Security, they handle cases with weird people like that the public ain't gonna never know about. Cause certain stuff happening, but they get there and they be like, "All right, make sure you don't tell nobody else. Just don't go to the media." And then when they do, if no, I'm good. When they do, then them people end up disappearing, or they go to the psych ward. Like if they tell you to shut up, that's what the fuck they mean. They'll do something to your ass. So the ones that was doing that, like the old man, when he came back, he didn't have much to come back to. So he started turning up. And then he turned up so much he ended up killing his own self. But the people that witnessed what he was doing, they was trying to go talk and they got somewhere for you. Just know that, right? They know where to put your ass. And they trying to make sure that this stuff stay under wrap because these people are amongst us. And these people, some of them have it under control, some don't. That's why some of them they keep with them. And some of them, the dude was getting, he keep them with them. The the uh the mind controller dude. And he was pretty cool though. Like he didn't really flex his power like that, but he was working with the police. The thing about it was every time they asked him for help, they asked him to basically detect his own cases, which was kind of crazy. And every time they trying to go after him, he always a few steps ahead because they always asking for his help to help clean up his mess. It's kind of crazy, it's kind of dumb, but I mean, it is what it is. The only thing that he really was doing, like, okay, like on one side of the coin, he doing good for the weird people that came back from being abducted, and on the other side of the coin, he using this same situation to commit crimes and stuff like that. You basically never see him doing this stuff, but you know it's him. Like they had with that situation where the dude didn't know how to read thoughts. When he came to try to infiltrate their situation, he almost got killed because once they found out, the guy that was in the room was like, "Yeah, we finna take him out, and then we're gonna figure out what we gonna do after this." And they was like, "Nah, we gonna figure out right now that he's finna stay there. We gonna figure out. We not finna kill him. Nobody finna get hurt. Woo woo woo." But the dude wasn't going. He like, I don't care about none of that shit. So that's when they got turned up and the shit that happened. I told y'all that happened or whatever. But the Fed, not the Feds, Homeland Security came in there and got him out the way because he basically was compromised and finna get killed. And since he was no good for them anymore, they put his ass back in the testing labs and stuff like that to do more work on him and basically to use him how they need to use him to basically get his powers under control and go send him on missions. Because the missions that he sent them on, he didn't complete the mission. He on meds, and the meds was helping him a little bit, but when he had to go infiltrate the guy that I'm telling you about, they was like, "We don't do meds up here. You're gonna have to figure that shit out." So that's what messed him up. And then it was like, what's the deal with this nigga, Joe? What's to him? And that's when he had no choice but to tell him the truth. Like, I'm in here with these people, and then that's when they was gonna kill him before they came and got him up out the building. But they all got different stuff. Like every episode is about a different 4400 that got a different situation going on, whether it be good or bad. And then it's basically like what happened with these people when they find these people, because they all came back at the same time, but not all of them have a gift, or not all of them know that they have a gift. So within that 6 months time frame, different ones been popping out doing different stuff. I don't even think it's been a whole 6 months until they start figuring out stuff, because at first nothing was going on. It was just they can't hold these people, it's unlawful, and they let them all go. And then they start finding out 6 months later that some of those out of the 4400 have these situations going on. Even two of the officers, two of the partners, their partners, both of them have a child that's part of the 4400. One of them is the dude's son, which was in a coma for 3 years, but now he woke up because of the cousin, what I was telling you about. But he woke up different, and he been going through changes as well. And then his partner, she got the little girl that I was telling y'all about that was born in 1937. That's 8 years old. And what her thing is, she see the future. She was like a fortune teller, sort of say. And the son, I forgot his thing is he blacks out. He killed the guy. Damn. All right, I ain't gonna say no more. But yeah, he blacking out. He unaliving people, and he doing much more than that. But the thing is, like when he first came to out of the coma, he was a whole alien. And then they had this little thing where he took him up, and the alien was talking to his dad. He was like, "We using them for a situation, and this, that." But before they could finish talking, somebody shot him, and he didn't die, but he ended up coming back to life, and he became his regular self. But every time he look in the mirror, the other thing that was in him be like, you know what I'm saying, wigging out or whatever. But yeah, we'll have to check it out. It's pretty dope. We got a lot to do with nowadays too, you know. I watched a video about luagos, like these animals that got the human spirits in them. People playing with witchcraft and magic. A lot of y'all gonna fuck around and find out too exactly what be going on, inviting people and things to your house. But yeah, it's pretty dope though. It's a lot of weirdos in the world you got to keep vigilant for. You know, it's a lot of danger out here.